Hey, welcome back. Before I get into anything, I have to thank the subscribers. You know, this channel is just barely a month old, and we are just blown away with the number of people who are clicking the subscribe button, helping to grow this channel so we can get more information out into the public at no cost to you about flight training, aircraft ownership, and living the aviation lifestyle. And yes, there is a general aviation lifestyle. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about CFIs, Certificated Flight Instructors. Every one of us who's involved in aviation is going to deal with a flight instructor at some point, whether that's our initial training, whether it's an add-on rating or certificate. Maybe it's just our flight reviews. We always have to be dealing with CFIs, of which I am one, and so is my buddy Pat Brown. He's a designated pilot examiner. I've been a CFI for 32 years. We take this business really seriously, and we love what we do. But you know, being a CFI is something of a trust. It's not just a regular job. We're not just serving you a cup of coffee or a cheeseburger. We're sharing skills and knowledge with you that will affect your life, hopefully in a very positive manner. So let's talk a little bit about the role of a CFI, and this is valuable whether you are a CFI who's working in the field or whether you're a pilot who just needs those services from time to time, and that's all of us. There is a long-standing gripe in aviation that CFIs are young people who are just trying to earn a few dollars and build up their logbook so they can go on to the next bigger, better job. And to some extent that's true, but it's important that we look at the job as the job, not based on gender or age or ethnicity or whatever it is. CFIs are CFIs. It is a steep hill to climb to gain that certificate. And if you are a CFI, be proud. Puff your chest out, pat yourself on the back. That's quite an accomplishment, and I hope you keep that CFI certificate and use it for the remainder of your flying days. The challenge is when we do get a CFI or a school that doesn't mentor their CFIs effectively and lets them go to work thinking their job is to earn a paycheck and build up their logbook. They want to get to that 1,500 hours so they can go to the airlines. That's not true of all of us. Some of us decide to spend our entire careers in general aviation. We don't really want to fly transport category aircraft. But even for those who do, that goal to make money and build your logbook, that's kind of dumb. Because the reality is, in order to be a flight instructor, to fly with other people where you're trying to impart knowledge and share skills and help people hone them, making money and building hours is a natural byproduct of that. You can't do the job without making a few dollars and getting more time in your logbook. Now, some of us may be a little more ambitious than others, and we want to get that done quickly, and that's fair. If you work for a high volume flight school, place where there are a lot of students that are coming through on a regular basis, you're going to get 700-800 hours in a year, and that's going to completely change your future because now you have the credentials to move on to the next step if you choose to. But whether you're a CFI doing the first hour with a student or whether you've been doing this for decades, as Pat and I have, your job is to serve the client. We need to view our flight instructional students, even if they've been flying for decades, we need to view them as an individual. Why are they here? What do they want? For somebody who's in primary training, are they learning to fly because they're afraid to fly and they have to fly for work and they just want to get over the anxiety? That's a real thing, that happens. Are they flying because they see the recreational opportunities that they could share with their families? Or is it something where in their business they could widen their region, make their market bigger and become more successful if they were a private pilot? Or are they somebody who wants to make a career in the cockpit and has every intention of moving on to the airline? Each one of those people needs a different approach, a slightly different twist on all the things in our training syllabus. If it's a long-time pilot who's coming to us for a flight review, we need to share with them what's the point of this flight review. And by the way, you can't fail a flight review. It's not possible. There's no such thing. It's just an instructional experience. But if we're the best instructor we can be, if we really care about that person sitting to our left, if we really make an attempt to make them better, safer, more knowledgeable, and comfortable in the aircraft, we win. Ultimately, your success as a CFI is based on the success of your students. It's not about the number of hours in your logbook, and it's certainly not the size of your bank account. I know those early years can be tough. I know you may not be earning a lot of money, and you might be sleeping on somebody's couch while you're doing this, but you know you've made an important transition. A CFI who can now work, who's made it through private, instrument, commercial, CFI, maybe you added a double I or an MEI so you can do instrument instruction or multi-engine instruction. You've gone from where you're paying for your flight time to where somebody else is paying for your flight time. And we have to respect that. Just as when we were coming up, we expected good service. We wanted a CFI who was dedicated to our success. Somebody who was really genuinely trying to help us acquire the skills we need to be good, safe, and competent when we get behind the controls of the aircraft. That's a really, I hate to use the term, but it's almost a sacred trust. They're spending a fair amount of money, whether it's a flight review or initial training or advanced training. They're spending a fair amount of money and putting an awful lot of trust in us to give them the tools they need to succeed. If we do that, we become a real asset. If we don't, well, that's a problem. Now, if you are a flight student, you should expect your instructor to be dedicated to you for that time block when you're together. That includes the pre-flight brief, the lesson itself, and the post-flight brief. I had a great instructor when I was going through primary and instrument training. We're still friends today. He's captain for a major, but we had a deal. If I would buy pizza, he'd come to my apartment and teach ground school in the evening. It was a great deal. He got free dinner. I got extra ground school. It worked out terrifically. I respect the heck out of him, and he's had a great career because of his work ethic. And I had a great career because he taught me well. If we all do that, we're in great shape. If you ever show up for a lesson and your instructor says, "So, what do you want to do today?" The answer is, I want to find a new flight instructor. I want to find a flight instructor who's dedicated to me and my success. I want to find a flight instructor who's going to guide me, who's going to answer my questions, who's going to give me insights and study materials that are going to let me succeed. I don't want somebody who's just trying to earn a paycheck and build their logbook. And if you're lucky enough to go far enough in this industry that you become a CFI, pass that same thought process onto your students. Don't be there for you, be there for them. That's the job, and that's what makes you a really good CFI. I really appreciate you being here, helping to grow the channel. It's been quite a ride so far, and we've got years to go. So please click like on this video if you enjoyed it. Click the share button if you would, because the more people who find out, the better off, and we don't charge you a dime for this information. And of course, as those who have come before you, please consider subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate all you've done for us, and I hope we can return the favor by doing something equally beneficial to you. MadPropsAero, where we say the possibilities are endless, because they are. We'll see you next time, right back here on your personal device.